That is Bill.
And that is Trevor. And we are
Oh, and we are
Bill and
And
Trevor's
Trevor's
Excellent
Excellent
Adventure. So we're going to pick up from where we dropped off last time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're pondering this business about signs and people's reactions to the signs. So we've got this crowd. And what we know about the crowd is the reason they came was to see the show. At least according to John, they came because they had heard or seen the signs Jesus had performed on the sick.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed up, and not what they really saw this time was food.
Yeah.
And they're getting hyped up about the food.
Yep.
Yeah, Moses fed people all the time, you know. What are you going to do? And Jesus, kind of rebukes them and says, you're not looking at the signs.
Mm-mm.
You just happy because you got fed.
Mm-hmm.
You need to work. You need to work for the real bread, and that's going to kick off a conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's read the rest of that conversation and talk about it.
All right.
Let's start with verse 31 and keep reading.
Let's do it.
Is it my turn? Your turn. You want to read? I want to read.
You read.
I'll read.
Let's do it.
So the people were saying to Jesus in verse 31, our fathers ate the manna in the wilderness, as it is written, he gave them bread out of heaven to eat. Jesus then said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, it is not Moses who has given you the bread out of heaven, but it is my Father who gives you the true bread out of heaven. For the bread of God is that which comes down out of heaven and gives life to the world. Then they said to him, Lord, always give us this bread. Jesus said to them, I am the bread of life. The one who comes to me will not be hungry, and the one who believes in me will never be thirsty. But I said to you that you have indeed seen me, and yet you do not believe. Everything that the Father gives me will come to me, but the one who comes to me, I certainly will not cast out. For I have come down from heaven, not to do my own will, but the will of him who sent me. And this is the will of him who sent me, that of everything he has given me I will lose nothing, but will raise it up on the last day. For this is the will of my Father, that everyone who sees the Son and believes in him will have eternal life, and I myself will raise him up on the last day. So then the Jews were complaining about him because he said, I am the bread that came down from heaven. And they were saying, is this not Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How does he now say, I have come down out of heaven? Jesus answered and said to them, stop complaining among yourselves. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up on the last day. It is written, and they shall all be taught of God. Everyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me. Not that anyone has seen the Father, except the one who is from God. He has seen the Father. Truly, truly, I say to you, the one who believes has eternal life. I am the bread of life. Your fathers ate manna in the desert, and they died. This is the bread that comes down out of heaven, so that anyone may eat from it and not die. I am the living bread that comes down out of heaven. If anyone eats from this bread, he will live forever. And the bread which I will give for the life of the world also is my flesh. Then the Jews began to argue with one another, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? So Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in yourselves. The one who eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up on the last day. For my flesh is true food, and my blood is true drink. The one who eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I in him. Just as the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, the one who eats me, he also will live because of me. This is the bread that came down of heaven, not as the fathers ate and died. The one who eats this flesh will live forever. He said these things in the synagogue as he taught in Capernaum. Let's stop for a moment and talk, because this is some crazy talk right here.
And
What do you make of it?
what do I make? I can't imagine being someone new to this and just hearing, eat his flesh, drink his blood. Is he teaching cannibalism? What's going on?
Yeah.
Jesus, I guess, to all these people seems like a crazy man. Because,
Mhm.
first, this whole conversation was just like, hey, we want to eat.
Mhm.
We want some more bread. And now all of a sudden we ended up at, well, we need to eat you? So what I make of this is there's a lot of symbolism going on. I always wonder, because it kind of just goes on, and it talks about the disciples hearing this.
Mhm.
I wonder what the crowd's reaction is to this.
We're about to read.
And I want to read some more about that, only because it feels like it goes into the disciples, right? But I wonder how the crowd actually reacts talking about going from bread to his flesh and his blood now.
Yeah, so you can see this is all about the reaction to the miracle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, as you know, for most of my life, I've been a software engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to work at Bell Labs back in the day when I was a young man. And back then, the hottest thing in software engineering was the Unix operating system, which had been invented at Bell Labs and is currently imitated by Linux, but that's another story.
It is.
When I was in New Jersey working at the Bell Labs, I mean, I was working with some brilliant people, and I was in somebody's office once, and he had a poster on his wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try to describe it to you.
Okay.
It was lettering words against a black background. And the letters were going through the shades of the rainbow, blue, yellow, red, and all of that.
Okay.
And the words said, "We live, eat, drink, breathe, dream," and a whole string of adjectives all the way down to the bottom of the poster.
Mm-hmm.
But the words were formatted in such a way that from a distance, you couldn't see the words. All you could see was Unix.
Oh, okay.
I've always wished I could have that poster. But they were describing a mentality that existed among those people at that time.
Mm-hmm.
They were all about the operating system. They were obsessed with the operating system. They got up in the morning and the first thing they were thinking about was, I can't wait to get to work.
I see.
Well, here's Jesus almost 2,000 years previous saying, you need to live, eat, breathe, drink me.
Wow. So the same way those people at Bell Labs have their love for Unix, we have to have our love for Jesus.
Yes. And he's saying, look, you're supposed to read the signs. You should be able to figure this out. I am something you've never seen before. And here I am telling you that I offer you a promise that if you will eat and drink my life, just like I do from the Father, just like I live all about the Father, everything I'm doing is for the Father. You do that all about me, you're going to live forever.
Wow. What an offer.
It's an offer. It takes a certain amount of trust to take him up on it.
Sure does.
Jesus said that's what the signs are all about. But we see that not everybody will read the signs and take them to heart.
No, unfortunately.
And what we have seen so far is that's got everything to do with who's willing to start all over from scratch and make the changes. Let's finish reading the conversation.
Okay. Would you like me to continue?
Yeah, starting in 59.
All right, 59. Let's do it. He said this while teaching in the synagogue in Capernaum. On hearing it, many of his disciples said, "This is a hard teaching. Who can accept it?" Aware that his disciples were grumbling about this, Jesus said to them, "Does this offend you? Then what if you see the Son of Man ascend to where he was before? The Spirit gives life. The flesh counts for nothing. The words I have spoken to you, they are full of the Spirit and life. Yet there are some of you who do not believe." For Jesus had known from the beginning which of them did not believe and who would betray him. And he went on to say, This is why I told you that no one can come to me unless the Father has enabled them." From this time, many of his disciples turned back and no longer followed him. You do not want to leave too, do you? Jesus asked the 12. Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. We have come to believe and to know that you are the Holy One of God. Then Jesus replied, Have I not chosen you, the 12? Yet one of you is the devil. He meant Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, who, though one of the 12, was later to betray him.
So here we see that it says his disciples. Here's an understanding modern readers of the Bible may not be aware of. Today, people use the word disciple as synonymous with apostle. But literally, disciple meant apprentice. So a student who's learning from a master in hopes of becoming as good as the master is in that area. So Jesus had people who were his disciples who were not one of 12 apostles. But a lot of those disciples stopped being disciples when they heard this call.
It is a hard teaching.
And I dare say that there are a great number of self-identifying Christians who do not live, breathe, eat, drink, sleep Jesus.
Yeah.
And if we're called to do that or else, we'll do the else.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. Here, Jesus comes to the 12 and he says, well, you don't want to leave, do you? And what is their response? Or maybe what I really want to know is what you think about why they responded the way they did.
Well, Simon Peter, I like the way he responds, saying, to whom shall we go? There's no one else. It's just him. They know that he is the one of the Son of God because of the fact that he's able to do all these things.
Yeah.
The way he speaks to people, the way we've had this conversation before. It must have been freaky being around Jesus because he doesn't speak to the things that are obvious to us. He speaks to our hearts directly without acknowledging what we say out loud. It's just more about what we're thinking, what's in our heart. So by now, they're sure. So they just say, where else are we going to go? Only way to their eternal life is through you. So here we are.
And I think that's a rational conclusion for a person to come to. But most people are not rational. I have a friend who has a profession. He was my classmate in elementary school, but I have learned that what he does for a living now, he's got his PhD in psychology, and he's a political consultant. And he's talking to all the politicians on how to manipulate the masses through their emotions.
Okay.
What we know about Peter was he dropped his nets, left everything, and followed. Willing to start over, you come to this conclusion, which only appears logical. Not willing to change, what conclusions do you come to?
Well, they would have to be illogical if you see everything in front of you.
And so you come to the conclusion that this is too much, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Or you come to some other rationalization. Well, he's doing the miracles, but he's doing them wrong.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. He's doing them wrong.
And so you got to check yourself. You got to watch the way you think, because the conclusions you are coming to may not be rational if you haven't dealt with the real issue, which is, if this is true, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And once again, we'll leave people to ponder that thought.
Yes.
I am Bill.
And I am Trevor.
And this has been Bill and Trevor's Excellent Adventure.